Hello, my name is Justin Hammel. Have you ever thought about the effects that paying $5 or more at the gas pump would have on your day-to-day life, or maybe your planning of your vacations this summer? Today I'll be going over why we have the dramatic fuel fluctuation prices that we've had in the last 6 years, who the major players are in setting oil prices, and therefore fuel prices, and why international oil production plays effect on us right here at home, and ways consumers can lessen the effects of large price fluctuations on you personally. Well, in the last few months we've seen oil prices have fallen to an average of $2.06 according to CNN Money News. We're more than likely going to be paying more than $5 at the pump by the end of summer. This is if we heed the advice of former Shell oil president John Hofmeister. This is the same man, though, who forecasted the 2009 oil price spike. So why, in a period of time of less than 6 years, have we seen oil prices fall and rise and fall, and perhaps, if you listen to Mr. Hofmeister's advice, on the rise again? Well, supply and demand is a major factor. A surplus in oil production leads to lower fuel prices at the pump, and vice versa. If large oil companies scale back production and surplus is low, the fuel prices are raised. In order to stabilize or manipulate the global oil market, conglomerate memberships such as OPEC or the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, such as Iran, Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, most of them are Middle Eastern, but there's a few others that aren't from the Middle East. When they set prices or set production, they can manipulate it to either, to their best interest. If they want to produce more oil, they can, or if they want to lower it, they can, depending on what they want to influence in the world. OPEC is who we most commonly think of when we're at the mercy of oil prices, who we're, cussing at when we're paying $5 at the oil pump. But in actuality, Russia is the #1 producer and exporter of oil in the world today, followed by Saudi Arabia, and thirdly us, the U.S. So when Russia's currency, the ruble, is faltering like it is right now, the inevitable reaction from a country who, according to BBC News article published just this last week, accounts for 70% of their exports as oil, their automatic reaction is to compensate for that. So if you have a drop in oil production and you're 70% of your exports, you're going to raise oil prices on your export to compensate for your faltering ruble. So why do we care who's doing well, and why the heck across the country or across the world, why do we care if Russia is having a bad day with their economy? The fact of the matter is that the world's oil prices and economy are closely tied together, whether we like it or not. The ripple effect of oil booms such as the Bacon oil patch right here in the U.S., which according to the Washington Post went from producing 200,000 barrels a day, which sounds like a lot, to $1.1 million a day. That's substantial, and it puts an instant surplus of oil into the world market of oil production. One could easily connect the dots to see that an increase or decrease from any major oil producer such as the U.S. or Venezuela or Canada, or anywhere for that matter, could have an effect on an economy such as Russia that relies so heavily on a stable oil price and production across the globe. If you really want to make a difference, you may want to get involved in politics, but the majority of you, and me included, do not want to do such a thing. So you may be best suited to pay attention to world economic news reports. Plan ahead if you're seeing warning signs of impending hardships on these oil-producing countries. Buy plane tickets now while fuel prices are low. Think about trends that are outlined in an article found in Forbes magazine, which promotes peer-to-peer planning, leaving to little or no variables in vacation budgets. Everything's prepaid. You're not going to drive from here to Florida or here to Disneyland in California. You're going to fly. You're going to have that set price, and there's not going to be any fluctuations. Whereas if you leave now, or leave this summer in June and drive down to California, the budget of $600 that you set aside for fuel may not be relevant when you're paying $5 at the pump. So when you're at home planning to go on that next vacation and you're doing that daily grind, you may want to consider other options to save your money or to stabilize your fuel price at home as a consumer. Consider taking public transportation. There's programs like Share a Ride, or there's a dozen or other non-POV means to get around to and from home, and things I highly consider. Fluctuations in fuel prices may be inevitable. With so many moving parts, from OPEC to oil booms in the U.S. to Russia's rough time with their currency, the ruble, you may not foresee everything coming, but a little planning ahead and paying attention to world events can lessen the effects of a fickle oil price and what they have on you and your family.